everybody, and welcome to episode 63 of the Play to Win podcast. My name is Tyler. I am your host this week, and I am joined, as always, by my amazing, awesome, superb co-host, Keiran. How are you doing there, good sir? Over here with the Batman shirt.
Yep.
Are you going to be the replacement for the main star of the Gotham Knights TV show? That looks terrible, by the way. Are you going to be like filling in for him as like Bruce Wayne's son?
Yes, I am. I can confirm that for people who are excited for that show. I'm not in it. I don't know.
You're not in it, but do you have anything to do with the Gotham Knights game then? Wearing a Batman shirt, so I'm assuming you're on the team in some way, shape, or form.
That is to be revealed. So
you can't reveal that information right now. Why not?
No,
when are we gonna find out then? When are we gonna find out?
October 28th. When that game comes out, I think.
So the day the game comes out is when you will confirm or deny any involvement in it.
Yes.
I have to look through the credits. Is Keiran's name in here? Do I see his name? Do I see? No, not wrong. Keiran. I'm gonna hit you up. You lied to me. Why didn't you just tell me the truth?
I haven't lied. I just said I can't confirm or deny it.
I was gonna say don't make me end up like Christian Bale's Batman when he was interrogating Joker, but from what I've heard, Battinson could be far worse. So don't make me go full Battinson on you, okay? We have fun here. But how are you doing, good sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Busy week doing like renovation stuff, like on Father's house. So that was fun. But other than that, I haven't really done much.
Hard physical labor. That's always a fun thing to do. But it gives you exercise, gets you strength, it also helps like time go by when you think about it. It can be fun. It can be fun and also kind of like relaxing, I think, like help clear the mind kind of sort of sometimes.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, nice.
Destroying walls with a sledgehammer really does wonders for your
mental health.
Yeah.
Like, that person didn't push the point. Why didn't they push the point?
Sombra, stop hacking me.
Oh man, making me want to play Overwatch right now. We'll be talking about Overwatch though. It's so much more in this episode of the Play One podcast, the show where we break down the week's biggest gaming news through in-depth discussion. Of course, if you are on podcast services right now, make sure you subscribe to us over there on podcast services. It helps us out a lot. Leave us those 5-star reviews because we think the show is a great show. We have a lot of fun here. We hope you guys enjoy listening to us. And remember, if you are on YouTube as well, subscribe there. Hit the notification bell, and also leave a like. Leave that like. Leave the those comments as well. All that stuff helps us out quite a bit. It's all very much appreciated as well. With all that being said, though, this episode we have not a lot to talk about, like topic-wise, but at the same time, there's a lot to talk about with those topics. In a sense, it's if you get what I mean, you get what I mean. This week we'll be talking about the Final Fantasy VII anniversary event that happened, where we got some big announcements from it. Big announcements from it. Very exciting stuff. We'll be talking about the Overwatch 2 event that happened this week, where Blizzard kind of like pulled back the curtain a whole lot more on the game and what we can expect from it this coming fall. Then we'll briefly talk about Capcom's Showcase, where not much big was announced there, but we got some stuff to talk about from it and more. But first, before we talk about any of that stuff, I want to check in on Starfield for both of us. It's been about a week since Xbox's Showcase happened. About a week. The showcase is on Sunday. It's Saturday when we're recording right now, so nearly a week. And we recorded that last episode. We were like fresh off it. We recorded it 30 minutes after. So like our real initial impressions of what we saw.
Yeah.
A week later, I want to check and see how we're feeling on it. Are we feeling a bit higher on it? Are we feeling the same? Has our excitement or hype gone down a bit? Where are we? So Keiran, where are you with Starfield right now?
I mean, kind of unchanged from last week. Like, I'm still really excited for it, but my concerns that I had are like, I think even a little bit more prominent, since like they did go into detail about like some like procedurally generated stuff. I don't hate it in No Man's Sky, but there isn't really a whole lot to do on many of the planets. So it kind of just seems a little bit like fluff or like filler to make your game bigger to me. So I'll be interested to see how they handle that. But other than that, kind of unchanged on it. Not not like super unhappy that you can't land on planets yourself, but I mean, like, it doesn't really bother me that much. So
Yeah. Yeah. See, for a majority of the week, I was unchanged. But that was because I hadn't gone back to watch the gameplay reveal again. And I had been meaning to,
yeah.
and I just didn't get a chance to until I think it might have been Wednesday or Thursday. I finally got a chance to, sit down and rewatch the gameplay reveal, not compressed stream or anything like that, like clear HD picture and all like that. Just sit there and watch it and not have to like take notes down or anything. And rewatching that start to finish, I think that I ended up getting a bit more hyped, not like drastically more hyped, but I ended up a bit more excited after watching it than I was initially. And I think that the excitement parts for it started, at least for me, yet again, kind of kicked in at the same point as I did before last time, which was once we got to, I believe, once they get to New Atlantis in the trailer, and then you start seeing stuff there, and then they start talking about that story stuff, and then other things in the world, like other stuff you can do on planets. I think that's where watching it, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so cool and so awesome. I think that's where it started to kick in for me some more. But even the beginning stuff where you're on Crete and you like they're doing the scanning and doing a bit of the fighting, even watching that back, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Just like, just scanning stuff I see on a planet, scanning creatures or scanning foliage or whatever, like fauna and flora and everything, and just getting myself immersed in these planets. I think that was like, it was getting me a bit more hyped. And we got some updates on the game this week through IGN interviews and tweets that got posted out and all. So I want to drop some of those little tidbits in here. We'll briefly talk about those as well, and like part of our check-in on Skyrim and everything. So we did kind of wonder this before, or at least I wondered it when we first saw the trailer of, are we going to have the first person conversations like back in Fallout 3 and Skyrim? I mean, not Skyrim, Oblivion, and also like Outer Worlds, how they have those zoom in first person conversations. We have a silent protagonist in Starfield. Going back to that after we had a voice protagonist in Fallout 4, and the conversations will be first person face-to-face ones, which I know a lot of people are actually very happy about, because I know there was a very strong contingent of people that weren't a fan of the voice acting or the voiced protagonist in Fallout 4 for a myriad of reasons. So I know a lot of people are happy that Starfield will have a silent protagonist again. I go either which way. It's fine with me, but got a little bit of information. And then IGN did an interview with Todd Howard. I believe it was Brian McCaffrey who did the interview with Todd Howard about Starfield. And we got a host of little details from it. So one, Starfield has more handcrafted content than any other Bethesda game. And they kind of referenced that there are over 200,000 lines of dialogue in the game. So any worries about, there being, any worries about there not being that much handcrafted, like tailored content by Bethesda, there's going to be plenty of it here in this game.
Yeah.
In regards to the concerns around the scope and the amount of planets, and this kind of goes to what you were talking about, Keiran.
Yeah.
Todd Howard did say that the game's procedural generation has enough variety to like generate the number of planets that they're talking about. So, they're saying like, hey, our procedural stuff, like, don't worry, it's not, you might come across some repeats and all, but like we can generate like a nice variety of places for you to go to and everything like that. Going hand in hand with that, I believe where did I put it? I think I put it down in here somewhere. I didn't put it down in here somewhere, but it was because it was a specific quote that Todd Howard said in regards to the handcrafted content and the procedural generation, everything. So I'm going to pull it up right here. Where is it? Scrolling down just a tad.
I interject while you look up.
Go ahead.
So my problem isn't with the procedural generation having enough of variety to create the number of planets that they said. My problem with it is, what am I going to do on those planets? My problem with No Man's Sky is, so like when they were talking in the initial reveal about like, you'll have like ice giants that are like heavy resource based, and you'll have Goldilocks planet, stuff like that. My problem with No Man's Sky is like every planet is pretty much a like resource heavy planet where you're really just going there to mine a resource you need to find. So my want for this is that it also manages to put in like something to do other than resources in a lot of these planets, because having 1,000 planets that's just, hey, go and mine this resource, again feels a little bit like filler to me.
Yeah. And I think Todd Howard speaks a bit towards that in this quote here. He says, quote, "We're also careful to let you know that's what that procedural content is. So if you look at space, you know there are a lot of ice balls in space. So that was one of our big decide considerations on the game is what's fun about an ice ball? And it's okay sometimes if ice balls aren't. It is what it is. We'd rather have them and say yes to you. Hey, you can land on this. Here are the resources. You can survey it. And then you can land and spend 10 minutes there and be like, okay, now I'm going to leave and go back to the other planet that has all this other content on it. And I'm going to follow this quest line. So we're pretty careful about saying, here's where the fun is. Here's this kind of content, but still say yes to the player. And you want to go land on that weird planet, check it out and build an outpost and live your life there and watch the sunset because you like the view of the moons there. Go for it. We love that stuff." End quote. And he was saying that in regards to their philosophy about saying yes to the player in regards to, can I do this? Can I do that? Sure, you can do it. Sure, you can do this. Sure, you can do that. Like if it adds to the player experience in any way, shape, or form. And I feel like this, I completely understand what you were saying in regards to the just going to a planet, just getting resources, having it feel like filler and all. But I still feel like, again, it'll come down to how that core gameplay loop feels, like how I talked about. Yeah. And if it feels good, just like how I mentioned in Skyrim, for me, it's just fun to go into a cave and slaughter the Draugr and the skeletons and the goblins or whatever, dozens and dozens of times. And all these caves are like functionally similar to each other. Even if I don't get much from it, like it's still enjoyable to do. So I feel like I said here, he kind of speaks towards it. He acknowledges like, yeah, like some of these are just going to be resource places. It is totally fine. Some of these planets will just be a bland looking ice place. And that's totally fine. If you just, you go there, you see it's like that, and you're out. If you want to like really get immersed, like live a life there. So I like that idea. And at least in my perspective, I'm down with it. Few of the little tidbits here from Skyrim not from Skyrim, from Starfield that we got from this interview. Let's talk about Skyrim. This game's been out for so long. The main quest line is about 20% longer than past games, clocking in at about 30 to 40 hours. This is not including like doing any side content. That's just golden path main quest line right there. They reiterate that there are, quote, step out moments in the game. They talked about this before, but just reiterating it. There are 4 major cities in Starfield to explore, with New Atlantis being the biggest city Bethesda has ever built for one of their games. New Atlantis is the main city that we saw in the gameplay reveal. That's where Constellation is set up and everything like that. And in the interview, they talk about how like New Atlantis, that planet of, oh God, I'm blanking on the name of the planet, but the city of New Atlantis, that's where like a lot of quest lines start and finish and take place there. So you're going to be spending a lot of time there in New Atlantis. They also spoke about like how you mentioned before, how you're not able to seamlessly fly between a planet's surface and space. Similar, you could do that in No Man's Sky. You can land your planet, you can land your ship on the surface and then take off and then fly yourself. You yourself physically fly the ship out into space. You're not able to do it in Starfield. About to call it Skyrim again, because the team basically decided that, it's not crucial to the player experience. They'd rather focus on making the on the planet experience its own thing and the in space experience its own thing, and making them both the best they can be, which I totally agree, totally understand with. While you're in space, though, you are able to dock and board other ships. You can steal them, and you are able to visit star stations and partake in smuggling, which is all very exciting. Yeah. And then the last bit of stuff that came out of this interview is that Elder Scrolls 6 is in pre-production and Fallout 5 will come after that. So do not expect Fallout 5 for at least, let's say 10 years. In my head, I think 10 is a good amount of good amount of years away to wait.
Yeah, so I don't think we're getting Fallout 5 until probably 2030. I'm going to say 2033 or 34 at the earliest, right?
I think
But
34 at the latest. Because I'm thinking this comes out next year, right? And then Elder Scrolls 6 is in pre-production. I imagine Elder Scrolls 6 should hopefully be out by like 2038. I mean, not 2030, 2028,
I
right?
would hope it'd be up by 2030.
By 2028, right? I
Yeah.
imagine it gets like about four or 5 years at most after Starfield. Fallout 5, I imagine the same thing. So
Yeah,
2030,
sure.
2033 at the latest. 2034 would be crazy.
I don't know. But I was actually talking about this with some of my friends while I was playing with Sea of Thieves, is that yes, we're not getting Fallout 5 for, let's say, a decade, but I don't think they're going to want to leave the Fallout franchise on the shelf for a decade.
Yeah, no.
And they have like Obsidian under Microsoft Game Studios, as well as like a number of other studios that could do a Fallout game. So I'm sure we are at some point we are going to get like a Fallout New Vegas 2 or a Fallout Atlantic City or something, right?
Yeah. Fallout Atlantic City. That would be crazy.
I don't know.
That would be fun because I've been to Atlantic City before. That would be hilarious. Oh my gosh. You know what? Let's do it. Give me a Fallout Atlantic City. Let's do that. Please and thank you.
Yeah. My point being that we are probably going to get a Fallout game of some genre in the next decade.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. Like when I talked about this on Twitter, someone has said, "Oh, what if they give Fallout 5 to Obsidian?" And I'm like, I mean, it's possible. I'm like, it's possible, but like that's contingent on one, if Obsidian would want to do that. And I imagine they would rather like do their own thing in the Fallout universe that's like doesn't come with the baggage of a numbered title. And also Bethesda Game Studios likes to hold on to their like mainline entries in their series. So like I doubt Bethesda Game Studios want to give Fallout 5 to someone else. So like I'm sure like some other studio will do some other Fallout related stuff, probably Obsidian. I also wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting a Fallout Online. Like I guess you could say 76 is like that for Fallout, but not really. So maybe we'll get a Fallout Online. You know, I'm surprised we haven't gotten it yet. So
who knows?
But yeah, you have any other little anything else to say about Starfield before we jump on out of it?
I will say that like my excitement for it has grown like a little bit, because like you, I went back and watched the like game preview in 4K and like the uncompressed like non-stream version, and I was like, the stream absolutely did not do this game justice. Like like when you watch it back afterwards, it looks so much better than it did on the stream, which again, like I've talked about this before, it's like you should do that for any game you were interested in after watching a showcase, because it is going to look much better in the uncompressed version. But yeah, I was watching it and I'm like again, it doesn't like blow me away visually, but it's definitely a lot more impressive to me than it was during the stream.
That was one of my takeaways too. I'm very excited for this game. Knowing we can dock and board other ships, steal them, go to star stations, smuggle. Ooh, I'm looking forward to seeing the people who like live out their inner Han Solo in this. Like it's gonna be fun. Hopefully the game lands and like manages to hit all their goals and targets, because there's a lot of potential here. I'm very excited for it. You got a final thing to say?
I was just I'm wondering how long it'll take someone to make like a Megazord ship where they dock so many ships together and then create this like space robot.
I wonder if you can do that. I wonder what
that'd be awesome.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see at the very least. 2023. It's gonna be a fun time. Fun time indeed. Now speaking of 2023, Final Fantasy VII, Square Enix had a 25th anniversary event, 10 minutes long. Nice breezy 10 minutes. I wish more people would do this. Actually, if you only have like one or two big announcements, just bam 10 minutes, we in and out. So they kicked this thing off first by saying, hey, remake Intergrade, it's coming to Steam. It's no longer Epic Games Store exclusive. It's coming to Steam. It is out on Steam now. Came to Steam on the 17th, and it is also compatible with the Steam Deck, so you can play it on the go. That's awesome. That's cool. Several Remake Intergrade, still not coming to Xbox. Still just PlayStation and PC.
Yeah, I at this point I've kind of given up hope for 7 remake coming to Xbox because
Yeah,
Sony's exclusivity ended after a year, and that game came out in like April of 2020, I think, something like
unless
that.
there's like more exclusivity behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Yeah, maybe, but
Because the
yeah,
exclusivity continued, it got renewed for Intergrade for like another year or something or whatever, like
mm,
another year or 6 months or something. So like at this point, who knows if it will ever come to Xbox? If it does, it'll probably be like a little bit more longer out. I wouldn't put my eggs in that basket though.
yeah. At this point, neither would I.
Yeah. They started off with that announcement, and then we got some mobile game updates. First off, they showed the season 3 trailer for the first Soldier, which is their battle royale. We've seen this trailer already, but they just showed it again. I forgot to mention they also showed off some merchandise and like some new figures you can buy, some new music stuff that you could buy, cool stuff. And then we saw a new trailer for Ever Crisis, which is their mobile game, which is essentially taking everything that was released as part of the Final Fantasy VII compilation and putting it into one continuous free to play mobile game, which visually is set to look more like the original Final Fantasy VII, with like its more isometric perspective in terms of roaming the world, the way cutscenes are framed and everything like that. It's set to look more like that. And I think even the battle system, it's more like the original. But when you're in combat, the character models, they look more like the 7 remake versions of the characters, which is cool. So in this trailer, we saw some shots from Crisis Core, which is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, and then there were some Final Fantasy VII scenes in there as well. Some shots from the Midgar section, some shots from after the Midgar section were in this trailer. It also revealed that the characters, you can get like different costumes for the characters. So we saw like Cloud in what looked like a samurai type outfit. Tifa, I forgot what Tifa was in. She was in a different outfit. It was more like a sporty type outfit, like a casual sporty type outfit. And like Aerith was in like a wedding looking type dress. Very reminiscent of Yuna's wedding dress. And then the end of the trailer, it showed Sephiroth and like kind of flash between the Sephiroth we know and what appeared to be like a younger version of Sephiroth. Very interesting, very weird. I wonder what they're teasing with that. But they said, hey, closed beta this year for iOS and Android. Cool stuff. I might play it just because I never played Crisis Core. We'll get to that in a bit, in a moment, actually. But I mean, as long as the gameplay and the free to play isn't too like egregious, I might actually play this because I liked the OG version of Final Fantasy VII, the way it looked and played and everything. So it'd be cool to have like a more what's the word? A more there's a certain word I'm looking for that basically means like it's more true, a more true remake or retelling of Final Fantasy VII, I guess you could say. But that looked cool. And I know you have nothing to say about it. Just look at the face. You're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Sure. So, cool. But then we get to the actual 2 big announcements of the show. The first one being, depending on who you ask, arguably the biggest announcement of this event. That being that Crisis Core is being remastered / remade. I'm going to say just a very strong remastering of Crisis Core is being made. It is coming this winter to all platforms, PlayStation, Switch, Xbox, and PC. It's called Crisis Core Reunion. For those who do not know, like I said before, Crisis Core, originally released on the PSP back in the day. It is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. And you play as another soldier named Zack, who has different relationships with relationship ties with Cloud, with Aerith, with Sephiroth, and with other characters that were introduced and created for Crisis Core. And that game kind of doesn't directly lead into 7, but like it sets the stage for Final Fantasy VII's story. If you've played Final Fantasy VII, you know what I mean. If you've played 7 Remake, you will have seen shots from 7, or you will have seen like part of Crisis Core in 7 Remake. And you will understand why this is like kind of a big deal. It's a big deal because one, again, this is a game people have wanted remade or remastered for a very long time, and now it's actually happening. But two, based off of 7 Remake's ending, it seems like they might, depending on what they want to do with this Crisis Core remaster, they might alter things with Crisis Core Reunion to better tie in with 7 Remake. They might potentially do that, or this might just be a straight up remaster, not change the story or anything like that. Just keep it as it is, put it out there. That way people know Zach's story, because Zach is very important to Final Fantasy VII. And he's going to be very important to 7 Remake based off the ending of 7 Remake.
Oh, is this just occurred to me? Is Zach the guy that I thought was Sephiroth that Aerith was talking about?
Yeah, and I clarified it for you. That no, he's that. Okay. Yeah, no, that's who Zach is. Okay. So I'm very excited about this. I've never played Crisis Core. I want to play it. People on the internet losing their minds over this. They're like, Zach Fair supremacy. Yes, we're getting the game again. We're finally getting it back. Keiran, you are a Final Fantasy noob essentially. Yep. But just based off what I've told you at all, are you interested in Crisis Core? And I can also say you can watch this trailer without having finished 7 Remake. So like you should definitely check it out. But yeah, does this sound interesting to you?
It does, yeah. I mean, like I never thought I'd like Final Fantasy because I'm not a JRPG person usually, but I'm really enjoying 7 Remake when I get back to finishing it.
You need to finish it. Like people, like listeners, I just want to say real quick, I'm very angry at Keiran actually, because I told him weeks ago, dude, you need to finish 7 Remake because this summer, like Square Enix is all but certainly going to like announce or tease something for 7 Remake Part 2. They're going to. So you need to finish this game before that happens. And he said, okay, I will. And then what is he going to do? He plays like 5 to 7 other games entirely that like are not 7 Remake. And I'm like, hey, finish 7 Remake. Last week came and I told him, hey, this event, they just announced this thing. Something is going to be there. You need to finish the game. He said, okay. What happened? He didn't finish it. Just like as a spoiler for what we've been playing, he did not finish 7 Remake. He didn't play it this week. He played one other game. So I'm very mad at him. Very, very mad at him. Because I cannot get like as in-depth into the announcement as I want to, because he didn't finish this game. I'll try my best though. But continue. I'm sorry. I just need to go on that tangent real quick.
You're good. I am interested in it. I will probably pick this up when it comes out. Probably for PS5, just because that's where I've got 7 Remake. So
yeah. Nice. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be getting it for sure on PlayStation. The game looks great visually. Like some people have posted side by side shots, and like it's obviously a PSP game remastered for PS4, PS5. It's gonna look like a step up, but like it's definitely a major step up for sure. And like some of the models look almost like not 7 Remake quality, like not up to that pedigree, but like pretty close to 7 Remake quality in terms of their models. And I also don't know if they're using all the new voice actors from 7 Remake, but Aerith's voice actor for Crisis Core Reunion is the new Aerith voice actor for 7 Remake. It's Brianna White. Zach's voice actor is the new voice actor that they brought in for him in the few cutscenes we have of him in 7 Remake. I think Sephiroth's voice actor is different. I'm not sure if we heard him talk in the trailer. I think we did. I think they might have the new voice actor for Sephiroth. But it looks cool. It looks really awesome. I'm excited to get it. I will definitely be picking this up as soon as it comes out. So now the other huge announcement from this Final Fantasy VII event is the announcement of Part 2 of this remake project. We can no longer call it Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. It is now called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That is the name of this new project, the next installment in the remake project. We got a short teaser for it. The teaser, we saw what seemingly looked like in-game footage of Cloud and Sephiroth walking through an outdoor environment. And then there was, other than that, there were like real quick shots and narration between like Cloud and Aerith and Tifa, teasing the implications of 7 Remake's ending. Continuing to tease that things may not be what they think they are going to be. And we got no further clarification on it. They're just like, hey, here's this little tidbit, here's this little tidbit, here's this little tidbit. And it's like, what does this all mean? What does this all mean? We also got confirmation. The absolute wildest part of this entire thing that I still cannot get over and I still find very hard to believe is that 7 Rebirth is supposed to be releasing winter 2023. Winter 2023. Keiran, do you believe this?
It's earlier than I thought it would be for sure, but
yes.
I don't know. I have hope they'll be able to meet that window. Maybe I'll have finished 7 Remake by then.
You better have.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of torn on it because like I can believe it's coming out that soon because I imagine they've been working on it for a while, but at the same time, I don't think it'll be out that soon because they would want to take more time with it.
Right, and it's like I can like when we had this whole conversation after like this with the leak that happened, right?
Yeah.
Not the leak that happened after Kingdom Hearts 4 came out.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, Kingdom Hearts 4, 7 Remake Part 2, Final Fantasy 9 Remake, big projects from them. When are they each coming out? And I said Kingdom Hearts 4 is 2024 at the earliest, maybe 2025, and like either that or 7 Remake. One of those would be 2024, the other 2025, right? Like when I was saying that, I always thought in the back of my mind that like 7 Rebirth, I'll say for the sake of this now for clarity, I always thought that 7 Rebirth had like a slim chance of being 2023 at the earliest, but like if it was, it would be the end of 2023. And even then, I was like, I don't think so. Like that seems a bit too soon. And then we got 16's announcement of summer 2023. I'm like, okay, yeah, like no, it's not going to be that. Like 2023 is going to be all about 16, but no, they said winter 2023, which means that they are saying they're kind of saying December for this game, or they're saying like, well, no, they've got to be saying December for this game, and that is coming months after 16, which is absolutely wild to me. And I want to read a post here from some of the creators of the game, right? The Final Fantasy 7 page posted.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see. I'm looking for a specific quote from Tetsuya Nomura, who's the creative director on the remake project. He said here, I'm going to read it from here. He said, quote, the development of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been progressing rapidly since we adopted a new development structure. A title of this scale in which everything is interconnected even before production began is truly rare. In fact, some development has already started on the 3rd title because this remake project will be a total of 3 parts. I myself have started on the development and am working towards the completion of the series, end quote. So, one, wow, this game was farther along than we ever thought it was. Clearly, very clearly it was. Yeah. Makes me wonder when it's coming out. And it also throws into question the rest of like their slate. When is like now at this point, Kingdom Hearts 4 could easily be a 2024 release. Like if this development is moving along pretty rapidly, Kingdom Hearts 4 could very well be like a 2024 release. Confidently. Yep. 9 Remake, who knows when 9 Remake will come out, if it is like a full-on remake. And part of me wonders, like, if 9 Remake is a thing, what if they decide to be like, you know what, 2023 is going to be the year of Final Fantasy. 9 Remake in the first half, 16 in the summer, 7 Remake in the winter? That would be insane. Insane.
Yeah, sorry, I'm putting together a little list right now
Of what?
Of games releasing next year.
This is the next part of the conversation I want to get into after we talked about Final Fantasy VII a bit. I do want to say real quick. So the footage that we saw, like I said, it was seemingly in-game footage, and I say seemingly because it was again one of those things where like the camera and the characters are moving like so perfectly and smoothly that it seems like too good to actually be like actual in-game footage. Like it seems like it was probably like really staged, planned out. But regardless, what we saw looked great. And that shot of Sephiroth and Cloud walking through an outdoor environment. What I will say without spoiling anything is that what I will say without trying to spoil anything is that that sequence is going, if things play out the way that they should play out, that sequence will probably be an early game sequence in the game that gives us a lot of backstory on who Sephiroth is. That's what I will say without really spoiling without trying to spoil anything about the game. I'm very excited for that sequence. We saw glimpses of it in 7 Remake, but this next game is definitely the one where we get like the Sephiroth blowout on who he is and everything. And that sequence right there is like the beginning of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't comment on it because 1, I haven't watched the trailer. 2, I haven't finished 7 Remake Part 1. So, like, I will say that I am very happy we got this announcement. I'm very excited for getting Part 2 for when I do finish Part 1. So I'm pretty hyped by this.
Yeah. Did you expect it to be 3 parts? Because I always did. And I mean, I guess it's tougher for you because you never played the original 7, so you don't have a frame of reference for how long the actual game is and all.
Yeah, that's what I was away to say. It's just like I didn't really have any indication of like how long this was going to be, whether it was going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 parts, whatever it was going to be, because I haven't played any other Final Fantasy game, so I don't know, 1, typically how long a Final Fantasy story is, or 2, how long or how in-depth 7 story is to require however many parts.
Got it. Well, the original 7, it was about 30 to 40 hours, I think. That's how long it took me to get through it. And like we said before, like the Midgar section of the original game is anywhere from 5 to 8 hours of the original game. It does not take that long to get through it. And it's just like a small portion of the original game. So having that blown out into a full 30-hour experience had a lot of people wondering, once we get past Midgar and we're in the rest of the world, like how is that like how in-depth and expanded is that going to be, and how long is this project going to take? Because there's still a whole lot of story stuff and a whole lot of characters we have yet to meet and experience. And like, so it brings up the question of what's going to have to get cut, what's going to be relegated to DLC, so on and so forth. So I was always of the mindset that 3 parts just made the most sense, because if not, then we're going to be on this project for such a long time. It would take forever. So now that we know Part 2 is supposed to be coming next year, I wouldn't be surprised if Part 3 comes out 2026, 2027, and then like we're done. Because they don't want this to be taking forever and drag on for so long. Like many were hoping, many were worried and fearing that it was going to. So I'm excited. Yeah. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, as I think I've done with my list for right now. But yeah, I'm also very excited for this, just based off the fact that, like, again, 7 Remake is the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played, and I am really, really enjoying it. So I'm really excited for Part 2, or Rebirth, I guess I should start saying.
Yeah. And like, as someone who played the original and it really enjoyed 7 Remake and what the story did, we have to wait and see what they do with the story in Rebirth in terms of where they take things. I'm trying to say all this without spoiling anything for you. Where they take things is going to be very interesting and will really determine like how much I continue to like it. But I think I'm going to be on board with what they're doing and whatever they choose to do. And I will say that this title, the title for this game and the title for Remake, make a whole lot of sense. Like, it's always made sense, but like this title right here that they're using Rebirth instead of like Remake Part 2 really allows you to reframe and re-reference, like have a whole different perspective on the title of Remake for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Again, I cannot clarify without spoiling the end of that game for you. But it's very exciting. Now, this gets into real quickly what you were making here. This list of big games coming next year, because 2023 will potentially be one of the best years for gaming ever at this point. What do you have listed so far?
So I've 13 on this list. 12 of them have been like announced to be 2023. One of them is like very heavily rumored, but I thought I would throw it in here because it is very heavily rumored to be out next year.
Okay.
So I have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16, Starfield, Redfall, Breath of the Wild 2. The one that isn't confirmed is Avowed, but that has been heavily rumored for next year. So
I would drop it for now. Drop it for now. Let's go confirmed.
Okay, well we'll go 12 games then. So taking out Avowed, Breath of the Wild 2, Diablo 4, Spider-Man 2, Jedi Survivor, Suicide Squad, RE4 Remake, Dead Space, and Street Fighter 6. That is potentially a huge AAA release every month of the year.
Exactly. And we already know Final Fantasy 16 is the summer. Rebirth's supposed to be winter.
Yep.
Dead Space is January. Starfield and Redfall are the first 6 months. Street Fighter, they just said early 2023, I think, right? Something like that.
So I know RE4 Remake is March.
It's March. RE4 Remake's March. Diablo 4, they did not put a season on, right? They just said next year, right?
Yeah, they just said 2023, but one would assume by June.
Exactly, because it was in the showcase. So that's by June, barring any delays. Suicide Squad, they said spring, right? I think they just recently delayed this to spring 2023. So that's spring. Breath of the Wild 2, you would imagine that's our first half of 2023 game as well. Spider-Man will probably be a summer game. I get the feeling Spider-Man is a summer game. I don't think it's going to be a spring or first half game, but it could be. You never know.
According to the internet, where I just looked, it says Q1, Q2 2023 for Suicide Squad.
Yeah, so first half. I could have swore they said spring. I thought they said that in their announcement.
Oh, sorry, no. Yep. Yeah, spring 2023.
Okay, I'm not crazy because I remember seeing those words. So like the first half, like just based off what we know, the first half of next year is actually wild.
Yeah.
And then that's just what we know of. That's not taking into account the games we don't know of for next year.
Yeah, because like again, this is just a list of like some of the biggest games that are planned to release next year. Like there are more than this, and then there are also like however many of your like highly anticipated but not necessarily AAA games, like Hollow Knight Silksong, right? Like that is presumably in the next 12 months is a very, very highly anticipated game by a lot of people and is releasing most likely first half of 2023.
And what's even more crazy to think about is the fact that about half of those games that you listed could be Game of the Year contenders.
Yeah.
16, Rebirth, Starfield, Breath of the Wild, Spider-Man could be one as well. The first one was a Game of the Year contender. Maybe Remake for Resident Evil. Maybe that could be a Game of the Year contender, depending on who you want to ask, depending on how it shakes out too. Like Diablo, maybe it could be a Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, I don't think Redfall would be.
I did neither do I. Street Fighter, maybe, again, depending on who you ask. That'd be a more niche one, but depending on who you ask, it could be. Like so many games next year. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be a crazy year, and I'm looking forward to it, but also dreading it because our wallets are going to be just like they're gonna see us reaching for them. We're like, no, please, no.
Yeah,
save me, spare me.
And Microsoft, please maybe open your wallet a bit more and get like all of these games that you can on Game Pass.
That'd be crazy if they made it. That'd be insane. Oh man, big times ahead of us. Huge year ahead of us. It's gonna be absolutely wild. Now we're gonna shift gears over to Overwatch 2. because we got a nice event for this. And I didn't watch the whole event. The whole event's like 4 hours long. I did not tune into it at all.
No.
I checked in really to some of the videos they posted after, just like their overview, the game overview trailer video that they put out. They put out a video talking about like their vision for the seasons and everything like that. And then they put out another video. I think it was the origin trailer for Bunker Queen. Checked out each of these things. Game's looking really awesome. We're gonna start with the origin trailer for Bunker Queen, because I think it's just a fine jumping off point right there. Just real quickly, what did you think of the trailer? You're the bigger Overwatch person here than I am. What did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it, actually. I honestly think it was one of their better origin trailers that they've made. Gave us like a nice look of like both Bunker Queen's background as to how she got to the place in the origin trailer, and her abilities. Like we mentioned, I think in the recap of the Xbox Showcase, that she has a shotgun and an axe, and then some form of like telekinetic powers where she can like pull her axe back to her, and her.
Well, it's not even telekinetic. It's more like magnetic. Like she uses the gauntlet that she has in her arm, and like it's just a magnet in there, and it just anything that's metal could be brought back to her. But it seems like maybe she has one specifically. Maybe she has like a setting in there specifically for the axe, because not every time did every magnetic thing come to her. So it was cool.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed the trailer. Also really enjoyed the cameo by Junkrat. I was going to call him Junker Rat for a second. Really enjoyed the Junkrat cameo.
Yeah, woohoo, the Junk Queen! Queen!
Yeah. It was a really good trailer, actually. Like I said, I thought it was one of the better ones.
I'm realizing now in the doc I have Bunker Queen when it should be Junker Queen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how I made that mistake. Don't know how I did it all. But yeah, I enjoyed that trailer too. I've not seen all of their origin trailers that they've put out, or like all of their shorts that they've put out for the game. I've seen which ones? I've seen like a snippet of the Genji versus Hanzo one, which I know is arguably like their best one apparently.
Yeah, no, like that is my favorite one by far. I think that's the best one I've ever done. So much so that while I'm watching it, I can turn off the sound and narrate it.
Wow,
I've watched dedication. That so many times.
Yeah, so I've seen a bit of that one. I feel like I might have seen maybe one or two others. I don't remember them off the top of my head. Like you'd have to put it in front of me and play it for a bit for me to tell you if I saw it or not. But no, I thought it was a good trailer. Like you said, nice backstory on her. Gave us like a nice idea of the type of person she is and her abilities, like what they could potentially be like in game and all.
Yeah.
So we get to the actual game, and we got a 7-minute game overview video, and then like about similar length, like seasonal vision overview video. Let's do the game overview first, because I think it gives us a nice look at the game as a whole, and then we'll get into like what the seasons will be and everything. So what is Overwatch 2 as a whole? It's going to be an always on live service game with a new seasonal model. No more just like you don't have to pay for it. It's free to play. We're doing seasons just like every other game out there these days. Their plan is to release a hero every other season with a new map in between. Skins and other cosmetics such as charms and banners will also come with each season. There are no loot boxes in this game. That's a huge thing, because that's the loot boxes are kind of what made Overwatch. They're not what made Overwatch unique, but they played a heavy factor in making Overwatch what it is. Just like I guess you could even say they kind of like arguably popularized loot boxes and made them mainstream.
Yeah,
like I think you can make that statement and not totally be wrong on it. So they're not going to be in Overwatch 2. They are being replaced with a battle pass and an in-game store. There will be 2 more supports added to the game and another tank just in the first couple seasons. And they are also working on characters that are at least like a year to a year and a half out from release. So like at this point, they're working on characters that won't be releasing until anywhere from June to December of 2023 at this point in time.
Yeah,
which is cool. And they did say that some of these are characters we've seen glimpses of. Some of them are ones we've never seen or heard of. And they kind of said that Overwatch 2 in the game, that there will always be something to do and always something to work towards with this new seasonal model that they are adopting. with all that right there, it's like a base level for Overwatch 2. How excited are you? Are you liking what you're hearing, Keiran? Does this get you excited? Does this make you a bit trepidatious? Are you going, you said a lot in the past Blizzard, I'll wait and see. Where are you with it right now? Just going off this base level overview of the game.
So I'm really excited that they're adding so many new characters, because before you got like a new character not that frequently. Like I think it was over a year between new characters, if I'm right. That might be wrong. I don't know. I can't quite remember. But you really didn't get new characters all that frequently. So I'm really happy that they're adding in new characters a lot more frequently than they were. I am happy they are moving to a, I don't know if happy is the right word really, but I do think it is the right move to switch to like a battle pass kind of system, where instead of having to buy individual loot boxes, you just buy one thing at the start of the season and you work through it until the season ends.
Right.
The thing that I'm not so happy about with that is I'm going to have to buy a battle pass every season when I could have just opted to. Well, I mean, you don't have to buy the battle pass, just for clarification.
Right. The battle pass does have free and premium tiers to it. It works like basically any other battle pass that is out there today.
Yeah. But if you were to go play Overwatch 1 right now, if you got a free loot box from leveling up versus a loot box that you bought, you would have the same kind of chance to unlock the same things. So I think that's where I separate from it a little bit, is like, in order to get the cool stuff, I now have to buy the battle pass. Whereas before I could have just leveled up and gotten a loot box.
But even if you had the loot box, you didn't have it wasn't guaranteed that you were going to get the cool thing. It was like a luck of the draw.
Yeah, exactly. So like in that sense, it is better because like you can look at the battle pass before you buy it and say, hey, like I like these rewards, I'm going to buy the battle pass, or I don't like them, and I'm not going to. Right. Whereas in Overwatch 1 with loot boxes, it was just, I guess I'll chance it and see if I get something.
Right. So, and then there's the in-game store too to balance things out as well. So like you can guarantee there's going to be really cool stuff that is just like in the store and not part of the battle pass too.
Yeah. So I mean, like overall, with everything that they teased in like the game overview, I'm actually quite happy with it. I think they're taking Overwatch in a good direction.
I think so too. I definitely think this is the smart decision, the right decision to move to this type of model. I mean, if they didn't do Battle Pass, it would have been weird, considering that like every first-person shooter on the market, basically every free-to-play game essentially has a Battle Pass of some sort and all. They're not doing loot boxes. They have the in-game store and everything. You know, Fortnite changed the industry and they're forcing everyone to do this now. Like it's our way or the highway. For good reason here. It was a very good change. So I do think it was great. It's awesome that they're going to be releasing heroes seemingly more frequently than they ever have in the past, which is always very great to hear as well. So I think this is all really a net positive for the game as a whole. Yeah. Now I want to get into the seasons and the way that they're going to be structuring seasons, and specifically they kind of gave us a roadmap for the first 3 seasons of what we can expect in terms of dates and what should be coming with them. So seasons in Overwatch 2 are going to be 9 weeks long. So that's 2 months and 1 week right there. Not that bad. No. Season 1 starts on October 4th, and you get 3 new heroes. Sojourn, who we've seen already, Junker Queen, who we've seen already, and then a new support hero that will be revealed in the coming months. Then there's going to be 6 new maps in this first season. We specifically saw Midtown of Portugal when they said this, but maybe that new Canada map will be here. Maybe Rio, which they also showed during this overview, will be part of that as well. Don't know. They're going to be adding Push as the new game mode for this season, season 1. There's going to be 30 plus new skins, 1 new mythic skin, which is mythic skins are basically a tier above legendary skins, and they're going to be adding new mythic skins throughout the game's lifetime. Yeah. We even saw like concept art of one for Genji. It was like a cyberpunk demon type aesthetic. Looked pretty cool. And then there will be new cosmetics available through the Battle Pass and in-game store and weekly challenges as well. That's just season 1 starting October 4th. Season 2 starts December 6th. This season will bring a new tank hero, a new map, more skins, a new mythic skin, and a new battle pass. And then this cadence will continue into 2023 for future seasons, which will all bring new heroes, maps, modes, skins, and PvE starts in 2023. I'm liking this plan that they have for seasons. The cadence that they want to do them in, what they want to release in each season. I'm liking this. Your thoughts, Keiran? Do you like this? What their vision for seasons?
I do. I think they're structured well. They're not trying to do too much in one season. They're not like, hey, we're going to give you a new hero, a new map, and a new mode all in one season.
Yeah.
Like
barring like the first two here. Like
yeah, exactly.
Which makes sense because like the game has been Overwatch has kind of been dry and desperate for content, like new heroes and stuff for a while. So it makes sense that these first two things are like, hey, we're gonna push like 4 new heroes at you and a bunch of new maps and stuff like right off the jump. So that way we kind of get off the ground running.
Exactly. So like I like that they're not doing too much at once. What was I away to say? It's just gone out of my head.
Oh my gosh, how did it leave it? Batman, smack it back to him. Throw the batarang. Help him remember.
In terms of the mythic skins, I mean, so in events in Overwatch, just for those who might not be aware, there isn't like a new skin for every hero. So like in like their summer event, they don't have a new skin for every hero. They will choose, I think it's typically between like, I'm going to say between 6 and 9 heroes. I think it's usually 6 or something like that. That will get a like summer event skin or a Halloween event skin, something like that.
And then they'll just bring back old ones for the other characters for that event, right?
Yeah. So the ones that will, or the ones that are new, say for like a Halloween event 2022, they will be 3,000 gold if you want to just buy them. But you can unlock them in loot boxes, and then the older Halloween skins will be 1,000 gold instead of 3,000. So like, gotcha. For if they don't release a skin for a hero that you typically play, but they did what they did last year, you can go back and buy it for a discounted price. And you can only unlock those skins whether you're buying them or through loot boxes during the event.
Right.
Got a little bit off topic. So like one new mythic skin per season, I think they said, right?
Yeah, seemingly right now.
So like if you play, I don't know, if you play Symmetra, right? And they decide, hey, we're gonna do a new Symmetra mythic skin in season 29. You have to wait 29 seasons in order to get the mythic skin for that character. Whereas with the legendary skins they have for events right now, like I say, they usually do between 6 and 9 heroes for a new like legendary skin. So I like that they're including them. I like that they're saying, hey, like we have this awesome new skin for this character that like is above everything else. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of wish they would do more than one per season.
I mean, maybe they will. Maybe like these first 2, they're only doing one because they're trying to work on all this other stuff just to pump Overwatch 2 with a lot of content at the very beginning. I mean, like they're like once we get to 2023, we kind of don't know what season, what each season will have, like down to the nitty gritty. So it's very possible that some seasons they'll do more than one mythic skin because, like you said, like when the game has 30 plus characters or so at this point, maybe I think when the game has over 24 heroes for a fact, like you're gonna be waiting forever if it's only one mythic skin per season. So like I would imagine they will definitely do like more than one mythic skin at a certain point.
So in Overwatch 1 right now, there are 32 playable characters. Once you introduce the 4 by season 2 of Overwatch 2, you're going to have 36.
So that's 3 dozen right there.
Yeah, so that's 3 dozen characters they're going to have to make at least one mythic skin for. So like, again, whether it be one per season or they move on to multiple per season, whatever. So like, again, if you play one of the heroes that isn't like necessarily as popular as the other ones, then you might be waiting a while for a mythic skin for your hero.
Yeah, which hopefully will not be the case, and I'm sure that they will be getting feedback on that and responding to that in suit, because I'm sure that some of the people are gonna be like, hey, not the best idea here. I haven't checked Overwatch Reddit or forums or anything like that to see people's
Yeah,
thoughts on
right.
this event yet. I haven't gotten around to it, but that is something I want to do just to see like what the community's response is to all this, how they're feeling about these things, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry. I just one last thing is like again similar to like the game overview, the season overview. Like my thoughts are kind of the same. It's like I'm very happy with it.
yes,
There are like a couple things that I would like maybe change or nitpick at, but overall, I do think this is a positive thing.
same here, same here. And I want to jump into, I'm going to jump to the PVE stuff first, and then I'll come back to like these other little details I have here. The PVE, they didn't say much, at least from what I saw in the two videos I saw. Maybe they said more in the full stream. But PVE missions, they're saying that they're going to push the Overwatch story forward, and it's going to basically focus on getting the team back together. PVE missions will be released through the live service, so we'll be getting PVE missions, with each subsequent season and all like that. And there will be dedicated PVE maps. It can be played with friends, which is cool, and it just allows the team, as they said, to go deeper into the characters and the lore. I'm excited at the potential of PVE. It just remains to be seen how well it actually delivers on telling a story with the characters and fleshing them out some more. Because I honestly think like Overwatch has very rich characters in a very rich world to really explore, and they explore it through through their comics that they put out and through their animated shorts and all like that. Like they explore it in other ways that's not in the game. So I'm hoping that these PVE missions allow them to, that they take this opportunity to tell a good story and make us get invested and care about these characters in ways that people who have been reading like the comics and everything, who have been really deep into the lore already, can get further into it, and those who haven't been deep into the lore can start to get deeper into the lore and start to actually be like, oh, this is why you guys have been going crazy about this reference or this line that this person says, and so on and so forth. I get it now.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm actually really excited for PvE. It's something that I've wanted in Overwatch for a while because again, going back to the events, they have event PvE missions where in those you get a choice of they have 4 preset characters you can choose from. So I think one was Genji, Cassidy, Mercy, and someone else I can't remember. And then you will just go through and do like whatever the mission is. But I'm actually really excited for Overwatch 2 PvE because I think it is gonna go a lot deeper into like the lore and world and characters of the game, which I'm really interested in anyway because I'm a big Overwatch fan.
Yeah, it should be awesome. It should be cool. It should be a lot of fun. So I think that's the bigger unknown, just seeing how that actually plays out, as opposed to the PvP, which is kind of like a known thing. Although even that, since it's going to 5v5, it's kind of a bit more unknown. It's all a matter of actually having to see how it's all executed on. But the potential is definitely there. And they also confirmed that, at least I believe they confirmed that one of the enemy groups that's been in past Overwatch events will play a factor in the story. I forgot the name of it. You might know it. It's like the robot one, right?
The Omnics?
Yeah, I believe it said Omnics might play a factor in the PvE story for 2. So that's cool for those who are like deep into the lore and everything. Did you have something to say? Because it looked like you did.
Yeah, I was just gonna add on that I've been watching a lot of gameplay that people have recorded from the first beta that they had for Overwatch 2. And overall, I think the majority of people are saying I mean, obviously they have gripes with it and stuff, but overall it's been fairly positive.
Yeah. Speaking of betas, the next beta is on June 28th. Junker Queen will be available. A new map will be available. You can sign up for it now. I tried signing up for it last night and got stuck in a loop of, okay, let me log into Battle.net. All right, I log in. Okay, it says to put in this code for security reasons. Cool, I put in the code, sends me back to log in. All right, cool, let me log in. Put in the code, put the code in, log in. It ended up in a loop. I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm done. I ended up getting a text like, hey, your account's been locked because of security reasons. Go here to act. I'm just like, I don't even know how or why, because I did everything correctly. This is so stupid. But whatever. So maybe I'll try it another day. Is what it is.
I think I signed up for it. Because just for anyone who signed up for it, it doesn't carry over between betas. You have to re-register for every beta. So I went on before we start recording today, and I think I registered for it. So we'll see.
We'll see. All right, and we're gonna wrap up the Overwatch conversation. With these two other little details that they gave us here. One of them being that items earned on any platform that you played on, whether it be console or PC. And well, let me actually rephrase this so I can make this a more clear, understandable statement. In Overwatch 2, regardless of what platform you play on, any items you earn can be used anywhere in Overwatch 2. Also, any items you earned in Overwatch 1 can also be used in Overwatch 2. So you don't have to worry about, I'm playing on Xbox and then I'm going to PC. Your items will still carry over no matter where you played or what you played. That is very good.
That's good because I will die before I give up my Beaver skin.
I don't know which one.
It's the one where she's a bee.
I don't have it. I think I know which one you're talking about, but I don't have it. I love her summer skin. The summer skin's a nice one.
Oh yeah,
like the beach, the beach looking one that she has. I love that one. I like it a lot. But then they also said this thing, and I wanted to ask you about it. They claimed that, like, because they were asked, oh, other games are going free to play and everything. Did this influence your decision to change Overwatch 2 to free to play? They claim that other games going free to play didn't influence the change for Overwatch 2, and that's more so about the community and maintaining the social element for the game. Now, I believe that is a factor, but I don't believe entirely that other games going to free to play did not influence Overwatch 2's change at all. I don't buy that.
No, and neither do I, not for a second. Like, don't get me wrong, I think that this is at least somewhat correct, because Overwatch is a very community-driven game.
Exactly, like I said, like I totally buy that.
Yeah, like I mean, if you want any proof of that, just like the amount of money they put into the Overwatch League is insane, and that is like one of the biggest gaming community events of the year. So, I would argue that this is not, I mean, I would say mostly true, but it has some truth in it. But no, 100%. Other games going free to play absolutely like had a big influence in this game going free to play. And also the fact that I said that a lot of the feedback had been positive so far, but everyone is kind of saying the same thing of like, it's just Overwatch 1 with a campaign and updated graphics. So like, I think they heard that and they were like, well, realistically, how many people are going to pay again I mean, obviously there would be a lot of people who would pay again to play Overwatch 2, but would you rather have, say, 75% of your community pay again to play essentially the same game, or have 100% of your community plus all these new players come and play your game because it's free to play?
Yeah. It's silly. It was a silly thing to do. Yeah. So, of course they're not going to say, oh yeah, that's why we did it on their own stream. Of course they're not going to. If I was just like, I see through the BS, guys. I see through it. You don't have to lie to me.
Nope.
But overall, we're feeling good about Overwatch 2, though. Feeling good about it after this?
Oh yeah. I'm really, really excited for Overwatch 2. I'm going to be hopping into that as soon as I can. Hopefully get into one of the betas.
Yeah, me too. I want to get into a beta. I really want to, but if not, is what it is. And I'll just wait till we get either another beta or the full release later this year. It is what it is at this point. Now we're going to shift over to Capcom's showcase real briefly. They had a 30-minute showcase, which I'm not going to lie, this didn't need to be a showcase. I think personally, because not much new was here. But overall, there were three main highlight takeaways from this showcase. First up, Resident Evil Village. We got our first look at DLC for this game. The DLC for it, story DLC, I should say, is called Shadows of Rose. As this trailer started, I was like, spoilers for everyone who never played the game, because major spoilers here. I'm gonna say it again, major spoilers here. Not kind of, it is, because this DLC takes place 16 years after the end of Village, and Rose is the main character. Who was Rose? Your daughter, who you were trying to get back at the end of Village, who you definitely got back, and then if I'm correct, Ethan died at the end of the game, or it appeared he got shot, and it was like, oh, is he alive or is he not? He's definitely dead. Shadows of Rose makes that clear. She puts some flowers at his grave. He's dead. And she has these weird powers, and she wants to break free from the curse of these powers. So she enters this mysterious realm of consciousness that appears to be based on Castle Demetres, because in the footage we see, she is in the castle. She's walking around it and everything. And there's someone who looks like Rose too. That's not her, but it looks like her. They're a weird, interesting character here. This realm's version of the Duke is a villain. They can summon like enemies to attack you and all. There are words appearing in the environment from someone named Michael who might be able to help her. It's all very interesting. You're someone who finished Village.
Yep.
What is your take on this? How excited are you for this?
I mean, I haven't watched it, so I haven't.
Oh, you didn't watch it yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, I saw it and I'm like, hey, I'll go and watch that later, because when I saw it, I was doing Reno at my grandfather's, and then I just forgot to and didn't go back and watch it. But
gotcha.
I don't own Village anymore, so
I see.
Like, and I am undecided whether I will buy Village again to play this. So if I do, I'll buy a pre-owned copy because it'll be
of course.
cheaper. But like, I mean, it sounds interesting. Like I really enjoyed Village. Again, I mean, my review never went up anywhere, but I gave it an 8. So yeah, I'm also really excited at the prospect of going back to Castle Dimitrescu, because that place is awesome. So
yeah, I don't know if you'd be able to explore like the surrounding village, but like the footage we saw, she was in the castle for sure. Yeah. So the castle is definitely an area.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm undecided. I think at this point I'm kind of leaning more towards yes, maybe not at launch, but at some point.
Okay. Now, does the potential of playing in third person excite you? Because this DLC is entirely in third person, which is first for Village. You know, 7 and 8, both mainline entries were first person games. This DLC is third person.
That I'm not so keen on. I did like the first person aspect of Village. It doesn't entirely turn me off. Just not a huge fan of it.
I mean, you played the Resident Evil 2 remake, and that was third person. So
yeah,
is it just that you would prefer that the DLC for 8 stay first person?
Yes.
Okay, as opposed to it being, because it's not like you're opposed to third person gameplay. You just prefer
no,
stay.
No, of course not. Yeah, like I would just like, I played Village in first person, so why can't I play the DLC in first person?
Yeah. So maybe there will be an option. And I mean, I think they said it's only third person. I don't think they said there's an option to switch it to first person. So I'm pretty sure it's only third person. But this does get into the fact that a third person mode is actually coming to the full game as well. So
okay.
If you want to play the entire Resident Evil Village game in third person, you can. It's part of the Winter's Expansion DLC bundle. That's the only way you can play the game in third person. You have to get this bundle that comes with third person mode. It comes with the Shadows of Rose DLC. And it also comes with a new content for Mercenaries called Additional Orders, which lets you play as Chris Redfield, Heisenberg, or Lady D herself in Mercenaries mode. And it's funny. And like when like you a little bit of gameplay, you see like Chris, like he can punch someone and use guns. Heisenberg has like, I think he can like send one of his like metal creature machines out at enemies. And Lady D, one of the things that she can do is throw a freaking chair at enemies. It's hilarious. It's funny. And when you're Lady D, if you're like going into a new room, like she has to crouch down, like squat down to go through the doorway because she's so tall. It's funny. But yeah, that bundle, it has all the new DLC and updates. There is going to be a gold edition of the game, which is basically like your version of any game that has all DLC included. Yeah. So that'll be a version you can get as well. They also announced that the Reverse multiplayer that's been long announced for such a long time, that will be it'll be coming as well. All of this releasing on October 28th later this year. So you have some time to decide if you want to get Village again to play this. I imagine by then you will be like, yeah, I'll get it. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Like at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean, also I imagine there will be like Steam sales and stuff in that time, so I might even just buy it again on PC if it gets cheap enough.
There's that too. Who knows? Wait. Well, I was gonna say, you'd play the whole game again just to do the DLC, but I mean, I imagine the DLC will probably be like its own thing, like in the menu, maybe. Like, hey, Shadows of Rose. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play Village again, sure.
Okay, hey, there you go. Maybe he'll play the whole game again in third person, and then when he gets to the DLC in third person, it won't be that weird.
Exactly. Yeah.
We also got a new look at Exoprimal, the dinosaur horde type PvPvE game from Capcom, which the gameplay video that we saw like just doubled down on the insanity and weirdness of this game. So the premise behind the story is that you're stuck on this island called Bikatoa Island because of this AI named Leviathan. This AI named Leviathan was created and works for this company called Ibius Corp. The AI Leviathan is forcing you to participate in war games to study you for this company. And you are forced to participate in these war games. But the story behind it all is that you're trying to find a way to defeat Leviathan, to leave the island.
Okay.
It is absolutely the most like just absurd thing ever that like it's like here is the most bare bones premise we need for a story for this game because we need a storyline for this game. Do what you want. Here's your backstory. Make it make some type of sense in the context and go from there. Yeah. What you had something to say? I could see it.
Just this game exists. Like, I'm not playing this.
Neither am I. I'm not playing it either. But I mean, it looks like it'll be a fun time to like turn your brain off with friends and shoot a bunch of dinosaurs. I'm not gonna play it though. They showed off a bunch of different modes: Dino Survival, which is the main game mode, Dinosaur Cull, VTOL Defense, Data Key Security, Omega Charge, Energy Taker, just a bunch of different modes. They showed off 2 of the exosuits that are in the game, and they announced that a closed network test is going to be held as well. There's no date for that test, but you can sign up to participate in the test. So if you are excited at Exoprimal, go ahead.
I might sign up just for the lulz and see how it is.
Go ahead, do it. I'm not gonna lie, I considered it as well. I mean, I didn't do it yet. I still might, unless I forget about it. But it's a thing that's happening. The game looks like it'll be, like I said, it looks like it'll be a fun time. Just turn your brain off, play with friends, and shoot a bunch of dinosaurs. Whatever happens along the way. Speaking of hunting monsters, Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak got a brief section of this showcase as well. Basically, just kind of talking more about what we can expect from it. It's coming June 30th. They said that a jungle locale is coming into the game. It's the first time we're getting one since the second generation of Monster Hunter games, apparently. Talked about some of the monsters coming, and they announced a demo. It's coming as well. It's a pretty substantial demo that lets you hunt Sunbreak monsters in this jungle region, and it's available now on PC and Switch. And this demo also supports multiplayer with no limit on how many times you can attempt quests. So that's awesome for those who are interested in playing it and getting it. Go ahead and get this demo. Like, I didn't list everything that's going to be in the demo, but it's a pretty substantial demo based on like what they were talking about. It's pretty cool. And then they also announced like some free updates that are going to be coming to Sunbreak after releases. One's coming in August, the next one is in the fall, then winter, and then another one in 2023. So a lot of cool stuff there for Monster Hunter fans. I've never played Monster Hunter. I've played like a demo of World. Either a demo or the beta of World, one of the two. And unfortunately, it came at a time where like my internet sucked. So I was like, this game is off the table for me entirely anyway. But whenever I see Monster Hunter Rise, I'm like, maybe you want to play it. Maybe you want to get into it.
I've played World quite a bit. I think I have, I say I have maybe like 50, 60 hours in that game. Just like playing it with friends when they wanted to. And like I didn't hate it. It's just not really my kind of game, but I like with the I may have the possibility to get Rise for free on PC, so I might do it. But I mean, it's like it's in a selection of games that basically for the motherboard that I'm looking at getting for my new computer. It's like, hey, you have the selection of games you can choose from, and Rise is in it. So I'm like, I don't know, there's a couple other games in there that I might also want to get. So we'll see.
We will see indeed. Cool stuff though. Cool stuff from the showcases this week, and events and all. Ooh, sorry. A lot of fun games coming our way. Speaking of fun games, I wanted to spotlight a couple more games that were, if not announced this week, had some stuff shown off for them this week that might be flying under the radar for a lot of people. Got a list of 8 games here. And of course, I will throw something up on the screen for each and every one of them. Really cool games here, I think. The first one is Elsie. It is a, quote, neo-retro roguelike that is very bullet hell heavy. And I kind of like saw it as being somewhat reminiscent to Mega Man, kind of sort of like that type of action platforming aspect of the game and all. It's very fast paced, very stylish, very cool. I like the music in it. It looks like it's a lot of fun. It is coming to Switch and Steam. So definitely keep this one on your radar if you are into games like this at all in any way, shape, or form. It looks very, very cool. Keiran, you look like you're into it.
Yeah, I'm watching it for just now. This actually looks pretty cool. I might get this.
Looks like a lot of fun. Then there's Nivalis. Nivalis is like a slice of life game in a cyberpunk setting. So it's coming to PC. This game, you're like I said, you're in a cyberpunk setting. You're like you build up your own store and you go fishing and you make your own home, build like kind of like building your own life, making your own life in a cyberpunk setting. And it has an interesting aesthetic where like the character models are like 3D kind of realistic models, but the world itself, it looks kind of sort of pixelated. It's like 3D pixely kind of look to it. It's an interesting aesthetic, but I really like it. It looks like it's really cool, really fun, kind of like way to just like chill and vibe in a cyberpunk world in my eyes. That's what I think about that one. Then there's Agent 64, Spies Never Die, which is basically a modern day GoldenEye 007, essentially. Like change the name, change the name and like the premise, but that's basically what it is. Like down to the art style, it looks like a modern version of an N64 game. Not saying that's a bad thing. I'm liking what they're doing here. They're clearly inspired and homaging GoldenEye. It looks really cool. It looks fun. And you can also make your own campaign missions in the game as well, which is really neat. I like that. So a demo is available on Steam as of right now. I don't know if this game is coming to any consoles. I don't think it's been announced yet. So kind of have to wait on that if you want to come to consoles, but it looks cool. It looks really cool. It looks really inspired. Next up, we have Demon School, which is a tactics RPG, where placement on the field matters during battle. And you have to balance school life as well, and you can form relationships with multiple different characters. Does it sound like a tactics RPG version of Persona? Yes, it does. But I like the premise. I'm not a tactics RPG type of person. Those types of games don't really interest me that much. But I still wanted to spotlight it and highlight it because I think the game does look really cool, whether it's from its visual aesthetic to the premise. It all seems very cool and interesting and exciting, and it has potential. So keep your eye on this one if this interests you in any way, shape, or form. It is coming to all platforms, so keep an eye on that one.
Nice.
System Shock. This isn't like a under the radar game. We've known about the System Shock remake for quite a while now, but we just got a new trailer for it this week. It continues to look cool. It looks great. I never played the original System Shock, but I'm sure that people who did play the original are looking forward to this one, might like the look of this and everything. Or people who might have been interested in System Shock because they played BioShock and all will probably like the look of this and want to get into it or keep their eye on it. So keep an eye on it. I believe it's coming to all platforms as well.
Not Switch.
Not Switch. Sorry, not Switch. All other platforms aside from Switch, though. So looks cool, looks fun. Next up, we have Rotwood, which it's coming from Clay. These are the creators behind Shank, Mark of the Ninja. I believe they made Don't Starve as well, if I'm correct. So yeah, this is coming from them. It's a hack and slash roguelike dungeon crawler, 1 to 4 players. You can wishlist it on Steam right now. It's going to be entering early access at some point in time. The trailer is real cheeky. It says 2024, and that changes to 3, then changes to a question mark entirely. Like, who knows? Who knows when it's coming? But I like it. It has like it's Clay's like signature art style, kind of sort of like you would expect from Shank and Mark of the Ninja, kind of sort of. But it also reminded me a lot of Castle Crashers from like the animation style and the art style as well. I really like the look of this one. So I would say definitely want to keep your eye on, especially if you like Clay's previous work. They're a great developer over there, so I would keep your eye on it. We got 2 more here. Second to last one is Cookie Cutter. This is an action-based Metroidvania with what I call a killer art style. I promise that's not a pun because in this game you do a lot of killing. You're playing as an android trying to save the creator. It's coming to PC 2023. I think it looks really cool. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a blast. It looks like a blast. Keep your eye on that game. I hope it comes to consoles in some way, shape, or form next year too, and that it's not stuck to just PC. At least come to the Switch. At the very least, please come to Switch. Cookie cutter. And our last game that I wanted to spotlight is called Beyond Sunset. It's a first-person shooter that is clearly inspired by classic Doom and Wolfenstein, like art style, perspective, shooting, action, pace, everything. Clearly inspired by them. It's set in a cyberpunk setting with RPG elements. It looks fun. If classic Doom and Wolfenstein sound like your type of bag, then this is going to be right up your alley for sure. I don't believe I saw any platform or release information, but it looks awesome. It looks like it'll be a fun game. So those are the 8 games that I wanted to spotlight this week. I think we'll probably do like this spotlight stuff another week or two. So I think there might still be a bit of like summer showcase type stuff happening. So we'll see. But just want to spotlight these games. Think they're a cool batch of games here.
Yeah.
Now, with all that being said, we're gonna move into before we get to brief mentions, actually, of these here, the ones that you just checked out, Keiran. Which ones do you think you're definitely gonna like, if not keep an eye on, like give a try for sure?
System Shock stood out. I haven't played. I'm like you haven't played the original. I didn't really know what this game was, and I watched the trailer. And I'm like, hey, this looked kind of like BioShocky. So,
the BioShock was inspired by System Shock. It's a spiritual successor.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
That looked interesting. I did like the look of Beyond Sunset. I thought that looked really cool. Same with which one was it?
Elsie.
Elsie, yes.
Yeah, each of those, they all look really cool. I was like, I put all these here, so of course they all really interest me. But I think the ones I definitely want to play are Elsie for sure. Cookie Cutter definitely. Rodwood I'll probably play if it comes to consoles. I think I'd want to give that a try. Maybe System Shock as well. I think those are the ones that like really caught my interest the most. But still, great batch of games here. Everyone keep your eye on all of them. Now we're going to move on into our brief mentions. We don't have too many here, so we can get through them fairly quickly. First up, Dragon's Dogma 2 has finally been announced at long last. I know all the Dragon's Dogma fans have been dying for this for so very long, for 10 years, in fact, because this was announced during Dragon Dogma's 10th anniversary event that they had, the same day at the exact same time as the Final Fantasy VII event. Crazy timing right there. 3 big game announcements all happening at once. Absolutely wild. But it's finally been announced. It's being made with the RE engine. Super cool. That event was teased during the Capcom Showcase. I just didn't put it in there with the Capcom Showcase because it was just a tease of the event.
That's something I was gonna say is like, so I tuned into the Capcom event for 30 seconds, and the 30 seconds I tuned in for was basically Dragon's Dogma coming on saying, hey, we're gonna have a video releasing in the next however long, showing you like, you know, what and how Dragon's Dogma came to be or is. And I'm just like, okay, why was that here?
It was here to tease that they're going to be announcing it, but like it was such a weird thing. I was just like, it happened. And I'm like, I know everyone's been waiting for Dragon's Dogma 2. So it's like, okay, Dragon's Dogma. All right, they're going to have an event. What's this event for? To talk about how and why the series is so popular. I was like,
yeah,
that was like a ball buster right there, kind of sort of.
It was just so unnecessary.
But I mean, it was necessary. I would say for their showcase, it went by like that, doing that. Like Dragon's Dogma fans are going to watch the showcase and know they're going to see this here. They're going to be like, all right, 2 is happening. They're doing too much with Dragon's Dogma, too much teasing. So like it served its purpose and all. It was very, for someone who is not a Dragon's Dogma fan, it seems very unnecessary. For Dragon's Dogma fans, that was like, okay. You're doing it for us. You're doing it. You're teasing us more and more.
Also, one other like super random thing. I always think this game is called Dragon's Dogma, not Dragon's Dogma.
You forget
Don't know
the
why.
G. You just skip the G entirely.
Don't know why.
Interesting. Not sure why you do that either. Very weird. Kojima and PlayStation. Kojima and I were putting everyone at ease. He still has a good relationship with PlayStation, although he's working with Xbox. I know many PlayStation fans out here were so mad and upset and making petitions, change.org petitions for him to cancel his Xbox game. But he still has a good relationship with PlayStation. You don't need to worry. He has not turned his back on them. He has not abandoned them. He still has a good relationship with PlayStation. Don't worry.
Apparently 1,846 people have signed the change.org petition to cancel the Kojima Xbox exclusive game. And I read this and I was just like, this has to be one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen in my life.
Those 1,846 people need to go outside, touch grass, and get a life.
Like, just the description of Kojima is betraying his loyal fans. He has been blinded by greed. We must help him come back to the winning side. This part I actually agree with. Not everyone has good enough internet to stream games. Not everyone has enough money to buy a new console or build a PC. And then it just says, please, Kojima, don't leave us. And I'm just like, come on, dude.
Blinded by greed.
Yeah.
Come back to the winning side.
Yep. Honestly, come on.
Like I said, go outside, touch grass, and get a life. It's not that serious, guys. Not that serious at all. Dear Lord. The fact that he even had to make the statement on Twitter is like bad enough. That's bad enough. Continuing the weird saga with the Persona stuff. Persona 3, 4, and 5 were announced to be coming to Steam and PS4 and PS5, but they're still not coming to Switch. Don't know why.
Of course not.
And what's weird about this is that Persona 5 is getting the PS5 version, but I think 3 and 4 are just PS4 versions. What is the logic, rhyme, or reason behind any of it? I don't know. It makes no sense to me. But PlayStation owners, you will be able to play Persona 3 and 4. Switch owners, you're still left in the dark for some unknown reason. It doesn't make sense at all to me.
Yeah.
Forza Motorsport, we got a little bit of an update on that. I think during the show, the Xbox extended thing, I'm not sure if this was there or not, but it will feature a full day-night cycle for tracks and varying types of weather. And real-time ray tracing will also be in effect. So while you are racing, the game will be featuring ray tracing. Like, it will be enabled during races. Cool little thing right there. Now, everyone's been wondering when a Nintendo Direct is going to be happening. Is it going to be happening today, tomorrow? Did it happen already? When is Nintendo holding their Direct? According to Alana Pierce, apparently it's happening on June 29th. She kind of mentioned this on stream, and this comment was corroborated by VGC. VGC corroborated it with their own sources. So Nintendo fans maybe put a question mark on June 29th as a maybe for a Nintendo Direct until we hear from Nintendo officially. We'll see.
I saw someone, I think it was Twitter, and it was like happy 5th birthday to this logo, and it was Metroid Prime 4.
Hopefully it appears in this Direct. I hope it does, man. Infinity Ward is seemingly hiring for an open world RPG at their studio in Poland, and this was spotted by Charlie Intel. This goes into what we talked about a few months ago with Activision Blizzard being acquired by Microsoft, and maybe the Call of Duty teams doing their own new projects. And I remember we had talked about who would be the first to bounce out. And I don't remember if it was you who said it first, but I know I definitely said that I think Infinity Ward would be the soonest to do it because Treyarch would be in pre-production on the next project already. Sledgehammer could stay on, or Sledgehammer could do their own thing, depending on what they want to do. But Infinity Ward, since their game is coming out now, and their next one will be the farthest out in the cycle, they would be able to do a new project. So an open world RPG from Infinity Ward, I'd be excited at the possibility of that, the prospect.
Yeah, so would I.
I wonder what they do. So there's an Assassin's Creed event coming this September, and it's so weird because they had an event this week to announce this event in September. The September event will reveal the future of the franchise, though. So you can imagine that's probably what we hear about Assassin's Creed Infinity in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
There is going to be an ID at Xbox Summer Game Fest demo event from June 21st to June 27th that allows players to download demos from more than 30 unreleased games. So far, 4 have been announced, those being Batora, Lost Haven, Broken Pieces, Severed Steel, and Tinykin. I definitely want to try the demo for Batora and Severed Steel. They look awesome. The full list will be announced, I'm sure, like either the day of or like the day before. So keep an eye on that. Now we get into a bit of some tough things here. First up, 343 was in hot water because they added a new cosmetic palette color, new nameplate cosmetic palette to celebrate Juneteenth, except it was called Bonobo. Here's the problem with that. Bonobo is the name of an endangered species of great apes. So, given the fact that Juneteenth is meant to celebrate like the emancipation of slaves in the US and the racial history of comparing African Americans to monkeys/apes, of course, many were like, why and how did this happen? 343 apologized. The nameplate was renamed to Freedom. And I believe they of course were like, no, we're sorry, this shouldn't have happened. It was a great mistake and all. And I believe that like some people are kind of like saying maybe this happened because they have an internal tool set that is called Bonobo. So whoever named it might have just put that name there as like a temporary thing or something, or just thrown it on there, and it went live. It was like never got past QA. It got past QA somehow, some way. There's many questions as to how this happened. It shouldn't have happened. It's been fixed. And I saw I think it was Kotaku or someone somewhere said this is the fastest 343's thought out an update for Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
This is the fastest they've ever thought out a fix for that game. Very funny. Very, very funny. Not funny what happened, but the joke itself was funny. Now, over at Activision Blizzard, an internal committee. Now, these next two brief mentions, they come from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. She did like the digging and reporting on this. An internal committee at Activision completed its own investigation of itself, of whether or not senior executives at the company knew and ignored any claims of gender harassment, and they found no evidence. They cleared themselves.
What a shock.
They cleared themselves of all wrongdoings.
Oh my God. Thank you for that internal committee, Activision.
Thank you for investigating yourselves and finding that you yourself did nothing wrong.
That's like me standing next to a dead body and the police go, "Did you do it?" And I'm like, "No."
I did nothing. There are no cameras here to say otherwise. You have to take my word.
Anything hides murder weapon.
Nothing happened by my hands, not at all. Quick, burn the books. Burn the books.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So come on, Activision Blizzard. But there's a bright side, I guess, to some Activision Blizzard stuff, is that Microsoft will be taking a neutral approach, a quote, neutral approach, in regards to future Activision Blizzard unions. They made an agreement with the Communication Workers of America, CWA, and the company will seemingly allow employees to talk about unions, and the employees won't partake in strikes or anything that disrupts work. That's kind of like what the wording of their agreement kind of like implies or makes it seem like the approach is going to be. So yeah, that's a good thing right there. That's a good thing. Kind of shows that they're open to, these discussions and all like that. It's good. Those are all of our brief mentions this week. Not too many. Some details for some of them, but not too many at all. Not a whole lot. It's a far cry from like the usual like dozen or so that we end up having. More than a dozen sometimes. So. Yay, we got through them. All right, let's wrap this episode up with what we've been playing this week. Keiran, you got one game.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say about Fortnite this week?
Just that I'm still playing Fortnite, still enjoying it. There is one thing I have not liked, which is people who have been cheesing me in the game. Like there was one where like we were both riding the backs of warthogs, like the animal, not the Halo vehicle. Yeah. And like this guy went into a bush and hid and just like scatter sprayed out and killed me. And
you got to adopt the strategy. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, true.
Can't beat them, join them. Hop in the bush and just.
Yeah, exactly. I will become that which I hate.
Exactly. But cool, I'm happy you're still enjoying it. Happy you still having fun with it.
I think I'm battle pass level 53 now.
Okay, so you didn't go up too much more from where you were last week. Okay, nice. This week I finished VII Remake, and then the Yuffie DLC. So like I finished it like a day or two before the event, so it's perfect timing. And after the event, I was like, all right, you already deleted it. Do you want to reinstall it again and start over? I was like, no, you don't want to do that. You have other games you want to play.
Yeah.
But VII Remake still an amazing game. And then Kirby and the Forgotten Land finally arrived. Finally arrived this week.
Yay.
So I started playing that a bit. I played, I think like 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours the other night. I just did the first area, like the first area that you have unlocked in the game. So if you've played the demo, I played up to that first boss that you beat in the demo. And the full game has like maybe 2 more main platforming levels than the demo does, and it has these treasure road levels, which are basically like challenge levels where you're timed. You have to beat them in under a certain time, and you're tasked with like you have to get to the end of the road, and it's basically a test of your skill with an ability. So like if you have the bomb one, it's like you have to basically throw bombs at enemies, and like to clear out the enemy, you have to clear out a section, and then you step on a portal to take you to the next area. That's how they kind of all the treasure road levels are.
Okay.
And they're just cool. They're just like fun tests of skill essentially. And if you beat them, you have to beat them under like before time runs out. But if you beat them under a set target time, you get like an extra 50 star coins. So
nice.
It's cool. It's been fun. I have my Waddle Dee Town. So, I have the Waddle Dee Town. I'm able to upgrade some of my abilities that I have. You can make them stronger. So I've upgraded 2 of them. I upgraded the fire one. So now I shoot out like molten lava rocks when I shoot fire out. And I upgraded the cutter one. So now it's a chakram cutter. So instead of just like a boomerang, they're like chakrams instead. So I throw them and all, and they're so much stronger. It's cool. Only played a little bit. I've unlocked the next section, which is like, and from the map, the overall map, it looks like it's gonna be like a beach theme for this next set of levels and all. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely gonna be playing that some more this coming week. I just didn't play too much this week and all. So should be fun. I don't know how long the game is. Don't know how soon I'll finish it. But I imagine if I play a bunch this coming week, then I could have it done theoretically by the next time we record. Depends on how much I play and all. Yeah. It's a fun game. It's just as fun as I knew it was going to be when I played that demo. So I'm happy I'm enjoying it. I'm happy it's living up to the expectations that I had for it.
Nice.
That's it, though. That's all I've been playing this week. That's all we've been playing. That is going to be it for episode 63 of the Play to Win podcast. Thank you all so very much for watching and or listening to the show. Remember, check out our site, playtowingames.wordpress.com, home for all of our content. You could check out our written reviews, our review policy. If you want to see about us information over there, you could do that too. It's a cool place, so go ahead, check it out. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at playtowingame. You can follow us over there for updates on the show, but you could also chat with us over there. Hit us up over there. Talk with us about all things gaming. Let us know how excited you are about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Are you more or less excited for Starfield a week after its reveal? Are you hyped for Overwatch 2 and Crisis Core Reunion? Let us know your thoughts on all these things, everything we talked about this week. You could also do that down in the comment section of the video here on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, Let us know down there. Like, comment, and share the video if you are on YouTube. Also, subscribe and turn on the notification bell on YouTube, and subscribe on podcast services as well, and leave us those lovely 5-star reviews on podcast services. All of that is very much appreciated, and it greatly helps us out. So thank you all so very much for doing all those things. Keiran, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at badlynet, BADLYNET, all one word. Post stuff.
He posts stuff and things.
Yeah, I post stuff, things,
You can follow me over on Twitter at TylerMiller2496, where I kind of went on a rant yesterday about Drake and his new album. Needs to step it up. He needs to step his game up. It's terrible. That album's not terrible, but just like he needs to step it up. But aside from ranting about Drake every now and then, I tweet about games, music, and anime, and other shows and stuff I might be watching. I try not to tweet about like certain shows I'm watching because of Twitter algorithm. I tweet about it once and then just pushes me stuff about that all the time. So like I haven't tweeted about Obi-Wan or Miss Marvel because I don't watch those. I tweeted about Miss Marvel once. I think Obi-Wan maybe once. but I haven't watched the latest episodes. So like, I don't want to tweet about them. And then it's just like, hey, spoilers, because you didn't watch the next episode right away. So that's how I am with certain shows and stuff and everything. But I tweet about stuff, tweet about fun things.
Yeah, I'm enjoying both of those shows quite a lot.
They are fun shows. They're really good shows. Thank you all so very much for watching and or listening to the Play to Win podcast. We will talk with you all next time. Have a great one.
See you later.